Hello, everyone. Good morning. This is another edition of Tuesday Morning Shenanigans, a stream version, if you will. I am Aaron of the Rave Corner, and joining me, I have another special guest for the first time on the show. I have comic book reviewer, comic book collector, and a good friend of mine who I met in Maui Comics and Collectibles. I have Marco. How are you doing?
Hey, good, bro. Thanks for having me. What's up, guys?
No problem. So I've always wanted to have him on the show, but due to scheduling conflicts, it never happened. But now I finally got him one-on-one in an interview. And so let's get this show started. Now, for those who have not seen Marco's channel before, do look him up. It is YouTube search Marco808, and you will see his great content. He has videos of comic book collection hauls. He does reviews and all these other sort of things. And for those who just are knowing about this for the first time, can you tell them a little bit about your channel?
So, basically, I show off my hauls, my comic book hauls. It's comics, art. I do art as well, and like most of the YouTube comic book community, we like to talk about the specifics and of each individual comic, its importance, its key issue, its history, and we like to tell them, how we got them, what the price was, stuff like that, so that maybe they can find it out in the wild as well. It's basically to help the community. The comic community, we love to help each other out a lot, and yeah, I like to do show off my hauls. Other than that, I sometimes do comic reviews whenever I do have the time. My favorite writers and artists, and yeah, that's basically that. Just about sums it up.
Awesome. And I would like to remind the people who are watching this live on YouTube, the chat box is open. So anytime you want to do, like, insert any question that might have came across your head while him and I do have our conversation, if you will, feel free to leave it in, and then I will deliver the question over to Marco, and then we'll keep the conversation going. So before we move on to more about your YouTube channel, I just want to know, when did you become very interested into comic books? Let's go back to when it all first began.
Um, the late '80s is when I first started reading comic books. My mom would order them from the mail, and I guess it was for her a fun way to get us boys to be interested in reading and art as well. Um, it wasn't until I think 1990 or 91 where I bought my first comic book ever, man. And it was at a KB's toy stores in the Kahumanu Center.
Right.
The old toy store. I didn't have enough money to buy a toy, so I opted to get the comic instead, and it was one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life, bro.
Now, I've never seen any, well, when I went to KB Toy Stores when I was young, I've never really noticed any comic books. Where exactly were they located? Was it near the register, near the counter?
A rack near, near the register area.
Oh, awesome. So going back to your first comic book, what was the first issue that you bought?
It was, I have it right here. It's X-Men issue 4. It's an X-Men book, but I'm a huge Wolverine fan, and I bought it mainly just for this guy. And it's a Jim Lee cover and a Claremont story, and this is when Jim Lee blew up, the '90s, blew up Marvel. This is when Jim Lee made I think it was 8 point something million copies sold. It was in the Guinness Book of Records, I believe, for the first issue. But this is my first comic I've ever bought, and it was signed thanks to Maui Comics and Collectibles. They brought it this year, the amazing Hawaii Con. They got Jimmy to sign it, and yeah, very proud of this one.
And that's the same issue that you had years ago.
Yeah,
I mean, it looked from what I see over from my vantage point, it looks to be in pristine condition. Well, of course, a little bit of wear, but it still looks really good, as if it was brand new.
I take care of my books, very, very nicely.
even when you were that young.
Yes, I was, well, not that young. Well, my parents would take care for me, but obviously my mom, she's into, my aunt got my mom into, collecting cards and comics, and then she passed it over to us and stuff like that. But yeah, there are great pressing services for books nowadays where like the presser, I don't know if you're familiar with pressing and cleaning. The guide is so good. Like it's they take vintage comics and they make it like really, really good looking. They press it, they clean it, and it's pricey, but very, very worth it.
By cleaning, what's the process that goes into that?
I think they steam clean it, steaming, or they steam it and they press it. So they use, I believe, a little bit, they do use a little bit of water on the comic and some other chemicals that they don't want to tell us. And then basically, yeah, they steam clean it and then they press it right afterwards.
Wow, and they do all that and the ink doesn't run or anything like that. That is impressive.
Yeah, man.
So besides comic books, I also noticed that you also collect a few figures here and there. What sort of genre interests you in the figure collecting department?
Figure, I think anything, I guess anything that catches my eye. Maybe I like Kotobukiya, is it? I like
Yeah,
his
yeah.
stuff. His Wolverine Kotobukiya is pretty cool. The Danger Room one. Um, Pops, obviously. Um, but I really like. I'm really digging the '90s, the old '90s Marvel X-Men toy line.
Oh yeah, I saw the
Stuff like
video on
that.
that
Somewhere
one
over
where
there.
you
Yeah,
had two different versions of Wolverine.
yeah. Stuff. Yeah, that mainly just stuff from my childhood. I like to collect.
Yeah. So, but mostly, are you a Marvel, DC? You're a bit of both, right?
I like both. Depends on where my favorite writer works is working at the time. But I do like the Justice League. I like how traditional their characters are. But Marvel's good though. Wolverine. I've since 6 years old. I've been following Wolverine since I was little, man. And he's my favorite character. I guess, well, one of the big reasons why, I guess, for me personally, and I think a lot other Wolvie fans, is that he he's a metaphor for resilience against life's tribulations, right? So life knocks you down, shoots you up, cuts you up, blows you up, but Wolverine always comes back up, fighting. Yeah.
Oh, we got a comment from the House of Blues. How you doing, Blue? His
Hey, what's
question
up, bro?
is, what is worth? Oh, what is worth the most in your collection?
Oh, let's see. I have it right here. One of my holy grails. It's X-Men issue 1. This is a Silver Age comic book published in 1963. It's the first appearance of the X-Men, obviously, and Magneto as well, and Professor X. So this is the main starting point of the X-Men, and it's graded at a 3.5. So this is a CGC comic. I don't know if you're familiar with graded books.
Oh yeah,
So it's a CGC 3.5 signed by Stanley, and um this can go anywhere from probably 3,500 to $4,000, something like that.
neat. So it started off with you collecting since you were a kid, but then at what point did you finally decide to dive full time into the more sought after items?
Um, I guess I guess when I came back to Maui in the military, I was still collecting, and I came back to Maui, took a look at my old collection and my new collection from what I've amassed over the years in the military, and back then I never really thought about comics as an investment. I never do still. I don't think it's a good idea for new collectors to jump in into comic books, thinking to make like thinking to get rich, trying to get rich. It's not gonna happen that way.
Oh yeah, the same thing happens for figures too.
Yeah.
Stuff like Toy Hunter. A lot of people watch the show and they think it's that easy that they could just grab something old, and because it's out of print, that they could add whatever price tag they can. But I think any collector's market requires a bit of homework to do just to figure out if somebody wanted or interested to check up the actual value of a collectible. It's a lot better to gauge what the actual market is and see what people are paying for it. Most of the time, you will be disappointed with seeing that something
Yeah.
you thought was valuable isn't really worth much in a secondary market.
Um, so yeah, when I came back to Maui, um, backtrack. I started reading The Walking Dead from issue one, and back then it wasn't worth that much before before the show came out, and when I found out that a book that I had bought for like $20 at the time is now what anywhere from $2,000 to $3,000. I sold it, or I sold it though. That's when I started. I was like, damn man, I got so many books here that I don't really care for. That's when I started diving into the business side of the comics. I was like, oh, okay, maybe I can flip this, wheel and deal, and then to get stuff that I really want, like
Yeah,
original art, stuff like that.
absolutely. Oh, we have another question from the House of Blues. It says, "Are you more excited for the new Star Wars film or the new Guardians of the Galaxy sequel?" Uh,
Um, I'm excited for Logan, but um, I don't know. They Guardians of the Galaxy. They're an awesome superhero team, but not really my team. And Star Wars, maybe probably Star Wars. Yeah,
the Star Wars sequel is gonna again follow the character that were introduced to in the previous film, right? Because I haven't seen the newest movie yet, so I think that one comes out. What is it? Wintertime.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So unfortunately, I can't really say much about both of those films
yeah.
because can't say I'll be watching it in the theater. But if a buddy of mine were happen to go, and my schedule is open, and I'm looking for a moment to actually hang out, and they say, "Hey, man, you want to come join us?" I probably say yeah, and I'll buy a ticket. Oh, okay. So it comes out December 15th. Thanks, Blue.
All right, thanks, bro.
All right. So it's going back to collectibles. Now, we were just a moment ago talking about people who were diving first time into the comic book collecting scene. What is a few advice you would want to give to people who are just starting out?
Great question. Buy and collect what you love, man. Whether it be a specific character or a group or writer. I before I dove into the business side of comics, I collected specific writers, like Garth Ennis, the guy who created the Preacher storyline. He's my favorite writer of all time. Garth Ennis, Grant Morrison, he too, Bendis. There's a lot of writers. Um, yeah, when I do look for a book, for a modern book, I never look at the artists. Although a lot of people say, "Oh, that's a nice cover. I'll pick up." Me, if I don't know who's writing it, I'm not gonna buy it. That's how I look at comics nowadays. But for new writers, for new collectors, yeah, look for research, Google, uh, writers who won Eisner Awards. Eisners are the like the Oscars for the comic book industry, like the Oscars. So look out for that. Like for DC, Jeff Johns is a good one. Marvel, Brian Michael Bendis. They're like the two golden childs for both companies. But if you want my favorite writer, Garth Ennis, he's great. He's great at dialogue and characterization, man. Like he can write about two characters drinking in a bar for a couple pages, dude. That's it, and you will absolutely love his writing, dude. And it's very, his style is kind of dark humor, which I really love, and kind of vulgar as well. So I really like it.
Vulgar, as in like Deadpool level? How intense are we talking about?
Um, I would say, yeah, like maybe more mature. Well,
Oh, upper the ante then. But the stakes are a lot higher in that one, opposed to the Deadpool series, the universe. I got it.
so yeah, collect for the writers, man, or for the art, but for the business side of it, like modern books that are being published nowadays, they're not they're obviously not good for investment. They're what, 3.99 a book, and you can't even resell it for cover price after, yeah, you can't even resell it for cover price. Maybe if you're into a specific character, Guardians of the Galaxy, buy their key issues. Is key issues are like their first appearance of a character in a specific issue. Maybe a death of a character is a good one. People look at, or specific story arcs as well. But key issues, first appearances are what people look out for mainly.
Fantastic. And I noticed that you have a really cool way of storing your comic books. But off tangent here, do you add little silica gel packets inside the box to prevent the humidity from,
Yeah, yeah,
the
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, that's very important. People do remember that. So of all the things in your impressive collection, now we're gonna get down to the good stuff. What is your? Oh wait, we got another question here. It says, "Oh, how the House of Blues did watch your Maui Comic Con Hall video. Uh, how can the next Comic Con improve in your opinion? What did you like, or what did you think needed work?"
Wow. I think they did a great job by promoting local artists, and I think that was the main thing, that really the main highlight for me, anyways. The cosplay was all right, but comic books in cons, they're gonna be inflated and pricey as hell, man. And like I never touched those, never. And I think they did a great job by bringing a lot of local talent. I think to bring more, maybe bring more VIPs, like James Silvani, the Darkwing artist, Steve Lealoha, maybe a little bit more VIPs if they if they can afford it, or yeah, or if they can snag them, that would be great. Yeah.
I think the first change would probably be getting a larger venue.
Yes.
But
Yes.
then again, we often wonder what other place could they move into. I think
Yeah.
there are some people were talking about, oh, maybe they should probably reserve some, like a couple of ballrooms from a hotel and then try to,
Yeah.
you know, expand from that.
Yeah. That's good.
Mm. So let's move on to what is considered the top three, or maybe just it doesn't have to be your top three actually, because I know it's hard. But if you were to make a top three, which which comic books do you think would rank up there?
Um, the X-Men issue 1, obviously, is my favorite group of all time. Um, let's see. Well, because it's to me it's very significant, man. It was published in the '60s. That's when you had the, is it civil rights movement, and you had a lot of social injustice towards, like, specific genders, social classes, stuff like that. And X-Men was the answer. Well, not the answer necessarily, but they were like the message to combat that passively. You know what I mean? Um, they were, the voice for young readers to say that, hey, this social injustice isn't okay. Because mutants are like a metaphor for for any, I guess, marginalized gender.
Yeah, basically people who are different, because you had someone in the form of, physical handicap in the form of Professor X. You had uh, Storm. You had all these different groups of people who
Yeah,
had different traits.
exactly.
Yet
That's why
they
X-Men, yeah.
exactly yeah, and it took a whole team to collaborate and then finally fight off evil, and they get the people's trust and respect.
Yes, exactly, man. I would say like I think Professor X is like Martin Luther King, and Magneto would be equivalent to is it Malcolm X, something like that. But X-Men issue 1 is up there, and this not a comic but an original art. So it's the original art done by Herb Trimpe. Herb Trimpe is the co-creator of Wolverine, and this is yeah this I had to I traded for from the Maui Comics. Man, there was a lot of back and forth, but both sides came out happy. We came out happy, man. And
I can't imagine how intense the negotiation must have been.
Alika, man, I love to see it. You know, when you get that vein over there, he's like all mad and stressing out.
Yeah,
Uh,
because that means you
I love
actually
me and
got him
Butch.
on
Yeah,
something good. So it's like, oh, it means he had to let go of something precious in order to give you what you wanted. But oh my gosh, you know what I envision? Something like one of those investigation rooms that they have in the police force, right?
yeah.
But it doesn't have to be in a police department. It's something that has that kind of setting, and it's just one table with two chairs, and you and the owner is sitting across from each other, and you're both maybe taking a shot of whiskey or something as you're trying to keep yourself cool while chit-chatting about it or negotiate.
It's like yeah, it's like you know Butch, yeah. He hangs out at
Oh
the
yeah,
shop regularly. Yeah,
absolutely.
me and him were like good cop, bad cop toward to Alika, man. We love
Which
seeing
was
him
the good
sweat.
cop?
I am. Butch
Okay.
is aggressive, man. He's aggressive, bro.
Well, he is tall, first of all, so I can
Yeah.
see how that gives him an advantage. uh,
But yeah, Alika, he's a good owner, awesome businessman. I think the one thing that stands out about Alika is his honesty when he wheels and deals. He makes both sides feel like everybody came on top, and he's honest. He'll tell you the truth. Like he'll point out the key issues in your collection, and he'll tell you like, I can only pay you this much because this certain key issue, this certain character isn't really selling much for now. The trend has kind of gone down, and I only can pay you for this much. But for that, I can give you a little bit more because he's kind of hot right now. So essentially, he puts lube on, and he puts lube, when wheeling and dealing. But he's good. My style, I'm not like that. I wish I was like my dad's a good businessman, but I'm more the passive aggressive approach. Like I wear you down with kindness. That's why I think Mike told you not to hang out with me or watch out for me. That's because I'm sneaky when I will and deal. That's why
mm.
I over a long period of time I'll be nice to you. I'll bear gifts and stuff like that. And when the time comes, you know,
You come in, you put up a high price, and then after considering how nice you've been to that person, they'll say, you know what, it's a deal. It's like that song, Kill 'Em with Kindness. uh, so you have the first issue of X-Men signed by Stanley. You got the really cool drawing of Wolverine. What else is there?
that one. It's the other one is stored away. It's the Brave and the Bold 28. It's the first appearance of the Justice League. Yeah, the Justice League. It's somewhere hidden over there, but I do have this. I really like though. I do own some published art. So published art like this, I really really love. Like this guy Eddie Barrows. He's not brand name artist, but if you're a smart buyer, you can buy art from good unknown artists who does, great, you know, great job. So yeah.
Nice. We have another question again from the House of Blues. The question is, does anyone give you a hard time for collecting comic books because they probably seeing it as something really geeky or nerdy? And if that happens, what's your normal response?
Oh man, dude, I'm still in the closet with comic books, bro.
You are?
Seriously, dude. Yeah, dude. Like I'm
You
still embarrassed, dude.
you
I,
think by doing all of these videos on YouTube that the cat will be out of the bag. By
that's why I don't
now,
show
the
my
curtains might
face.
have been pulled open and everyone would know by now.
Just my face, bro.
I got it.
Yeah, dude. Like some guy. My Instagram account is strictly for buying, selling, trading comics and collectibles. There are some of my classmates who, oh, is Marco here? Oh, I'm gonna friend him, dude. I block all of them, dude, because I don't want them to see my content. I'm like,
Oh, I see.
yeah, yeah.
So the people within the niche are just potential customers, if not just somebody that you know who don't mind, like me.
Yeah, dude.
I've
Um,
ever since I watched your videos, it's the first time I ever heard about the concept of actually doing some deals on Instagram. How does that work for you?
it's great. I guess PayPal makes it safe for sellers and buyers.
Right.
It's good. eBay is, oh my God, it's inflated, and the guys there, they really don't know how to. They're not really good at, I guess, grading books. Being uh, very spot on the grades and the prices. But Instagram, you're more. I guess it's more intimate. You know the guy there, you know the account, and it makes the seller more honest. It makes everybody more honest, I guess. It's
So
good. Yeah, Instagram
is
is
this
good.
something that happens more frequently on Instagram? Because I don't think I've seen it anywhere else, at least on the toy collector side of things.
Oh, wow. Yeah, dude. There's a lot of everybody DM me for price. Everybody, yeah, everybody's wheeling and dealing on Instagram, man. It's a good place to shop around, dude.
Oh, I guess I'll consider it because there's a few things in my Godzilla collection that I don't mind parting with.
Oh,
But it's really hard to find the really small collectors market that's on Maui. So therefore, it would be wiser if I were to expand to an audience of the internet, if you will.
yeah.
Oh, we have another question. Do you ever consider selling part of your collection before the market becomes oversaturated with all of the superhero films being made, or does it help its value?
Yeah. Currently, it's currently helping right now, but a lot of people are saying it's later down, the line, it might crash. I don't know. I'm just taking advantage of it right now. With the speculations, it is books are being inflated, and yeah, I'm just taking advantage of it right now, man. But selling my collection, just the ones that I really don't want, I guess.
Yeah, it's I don't know about you, but for me, whenever I look at the toy market a few times, it's really exciting to think that some of the toys, or should I say collectibles that you buy, it's sort of like taking a gamble at a stock market, because if you're really interested on how the value will do in the future, it's sort of like if you were to see a bubble start to expand, you really want to take advantage of it before the whole thing bursts, and when it's all over, you can't help but feel very disappointed and things like that. I mean, it's just almost the same thing anywhere, and
Yeah,
it's one of the most interesting part of collecting. Although I'm not really a collector, I mean, by that I mean I am not in it for the sake of reselling. I'm a collector because I love what I buy and I plan to keep it for as long as I can, unless if I have to thin out my collection. But to see something that I never once thought about the potential of it ever inflating in the second market price. And then, sure enough, after I bought it, things start to go a lot crazy in there. You couldn't help, well, at least for me, I couldn't help but to think, what would happen if I were to buy duplicates right now and I were to happen to, you know, let go of my spare? Because if I were to buy duplicates for anything, it would be for the sake of keeping one fresh and mint,
Yes,
sealed inside the
yes.
packaging,
It's
while the
playing with
second
the
one
other.
is meant for me to take it out and display it and other kinds of stuff. But with the collectors market, or the Godzilla collectors market, considering how things go, I can only be able to handle just buying one of each. That's it. And then
No.
whether it remains sealed or open, it depends on me. But at the same time, I love to do figure reviews, so they have to be open. But I'll try to repackage them in a box if it's possible.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Do you plan to pass on your comic book collection over to your kids, or your son?
Yes. Yes. Yeah. The kiddos, they like the comics. I do, or if they're not really interested, I'll probably sell it before before something happens to me, and just put it in their bank account.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I have met your son before. How much is he into comic books?
He's more into figures actually. Yeah.
Oh,
My daughter's into like reading and Teen Titans. He likes figures. He likes figures, and then
oh wow, that is so cool, man! You got one of each. One that will continue the legacy, while a new legacy is just starting. So you get to have like two worlds, not really clash together, but they have separated and gone their own ways. I'd be
oh
proud.
yeah, man.
Have you ever had unbuyer's remorse, which is something that you should have pulled the trigger on, but it was too late for you,
Yes.
and then you ended up regretting not buying it?
Yes, a lot of times, man. Um, like I should have bought. This was back in 2006 or five. Um, I was looking for another copy of The Walking Dead issue one, and back then it was graded at a 9.8. It was selling for just $100, and I could have bought like wow multiple copies, man. And now it's like a $3,000 book. And I was like, damn, dude, I wish, yeah, I did wish back then I had bought multiple copies of it. But I think I had bought that day was, I think it was a Hulk 181, a Wolverine key issue. So
Neat.
yeah, that was, yeah, probably the main one. Yeah, that was probably the main one.
So you have been, well, the House of Blues is actually cringing alongside with you. So thanks, Blue. So a year ago, you have opened up your YouTube channel so that you can express your love of collecting comic books with the world. What gave you the idea or the inspiration of actually starting your own YouTube channel?
um, I really, it's when the comic shop opened up, I really couldn't find anybody to talk about Garth Ennis, Grant Morrison, stuff about my favorite writers or other subjects as well. So, and I found some other dudes who are into Preacher, who are into my writers on social media, and so that's when I joined. And yeah, and we hit it off, man. That's the main reason why. Yeah, that's definitely the main reason why.
So, what do you think is the most rewarding thing that comes from doing these reviews?
Um, I guess interacting and meeting new collectors like Butch. I met Butch through my comics, but he he approached me after watching my videos, and I didn't know he was into comics, and so then we started hanging out afterwards. And on like the business side of comics, it's really good, really great information. for spec books and key issues. It's great information, man.
Nice. And then you've also done, yeah, you've also shared your love for your viewers by actually having contest giveaways.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so that's really cool, man. I mean, how do you come in terms with picking which one you want to part with and which ones you give away? Because the one of the videos I saw, you're actually giving away key issues, but
Yes,
of
yes.
course your personal value is different from mine. But I'm one of those guys where if I were to grab something original, something that started everything, like a whole new world, it would be hard for myself to think, oh, this is a really valuable piece of history that I would have to part with. I mean, are those something that you would classify in your category of, this is something that's just an excess stop and I don't mind thinning it out, or was there a different
Yes,
sort of?
yes. Those are my doubles, my multiple copies that I found on eBay for really, really cheap. Those are like probably like $5 books. And if you, man, like I do spend a lot of nights, mornings, like 2 a.m. just hunting, cruising on eBay, looking for deals, just hunting for books, hitting up Craigslist's, and that's what you gotta do. That's what collectors, I mean, good collectors do, man. We stealth buy books sometimes in a liquor shop. I find books for $5 that are worth $100, and that's how I get my collection. That's how I build books that I want to trade for to get stuff that I like my original art and stuff like that.
Neat. But it sounds like you, over time, you naturally develop this. I like to call it this really sharp instinct. It's like you have this eye for something.
Yes, yeah, Lika can tell you all about that, man. Yeah, I give credit to the YouTube, the comic community, bro. It's like you can watch videos of people's hauls, and and then like maybe later down next week I'm at the shop. I'm like, oh, I think I saw this book before. I don't remember the significance, but I did see this in somebody's vid. I picked it up. Screw it, I'll pick it up. It's only $2. Go home, I found out, oh, it's a $50 book. Oh, okay, wow. So the community just watching videos really helps out a lot in identifying, key books.
And you go to eBay every day. I mean, how long?
Yes.
Wow.
eBay, I'm using eBay every day, bro.
How many hours do you actually spend on eBay just sifting through the listing? I mean, sometimes I get tired after looking at all of the new listing of Godzilla toys.
I go around like 1 a.m., 2 a.m. You can probably find good finds usually, but then um, yeah, man, I never stop, bro.
All right. So, looking ahead, what sort of things do people should people look forward to on your channel? What sort of new stuff you have planned for us? Any previews? Any sort of
Um,
hints you can give away?
I might do a giveaway soon, but I do have some cool dollar bin 50-cent hauls that some fun ones, some books that I got for $1 that are worth 40, $50, stuff like that. So some fun finds. I've been this past couple months since Free Comic Book Day. I've been hunting a lot,
Hmm.
and I can't wait to share it. If when I do have the time and when I'm not lazy, I'll definitely put up a vid.
Yeah, one thing I love about your haul videos is that you do show what you have, but in the middle, I'm always interested in the short reviews that you do. For example, you brought out a key issue of, I think it was Thor, and then you started to talk a little bit about the artwork and then like how the storyline went. And I thought, did this guy really get all of this information from opening the comic book and then slipping it back into the Mylar sleeve, or did he, um, get a summary or maybe what do you call those? Yeah, it's like a summary of the story in the form of a written draft that you might have gotten from Google or something else. I mean, do you actually have a habit of maybe taking something out of a Mylar sleeve, reading it very carefully, and then slipping it back in, or once it's sealed, do you just keep it in that condition?
Oh no, I like to take it out sometimes. Yeah, But yeah, I guess my collecting style, I'm a good balance of reading and collecting. You know, buying, selling, trading. I need to have an affinity for a character or a writer in order to spend big money on key issues or their first appearance. I'm not like those guys, those collectors who buy books and they don't know jack about a character. I need to be emotionally invested with the character or the writer in order to collect the books.
Have you ever been caught in the moments where all it took was just a cover art to draw you in, and it didn't matter if you knew the drawer or the author yet? You just happen to know that, hey, this I'm judging it by the cover of this comic book. It looks so cool. I gotta buy this, because sometimes I have that
Yes.
same thing happen to me when I look at figures. Sometimes a concept or the design of it is intriguing enough that I say, you know what, I don't know anything about this. I'm just gonna buy it and then I'll do my research later.
Yes, that's what happened to me with the Preacher. Glenn Fabry, he does the cover art for Preacher, Hellblazer, Judge Dredd. But Fabry, his stuff is great. It's a mix with pencils and painting. I don't know if you're familiar with the Preacher comic book covers.
I haven't seen the comic book covers. However, because I watch AMC a lot, I was introduced to the show first,
Ah,
and but that's about it. Unfortunately, I didn't catch one episode because, well, it looks really cool, but they introduced this one character that made me think, what the heck happened to you? It was this guy who I think has a sphincter for a mouth.
Arseface, yes.
Yes, that's his name, Arseface. So I thought, well, so what? So what's the deal with that guy? Is he cursed, or like what's his backstory? He looks just disfigured. If the preacher hadn't gotten to him.
um, his father, the sheriff, is abusive. So he grew up in a in a bad household, bad background. So he shot himself in the mouth, but that didn't work. And now his dick of a father is living with him, living with the situation, and he adds, Arseface adds this a little fun spice to the fun element to the preacher storyline, dude. I don't want to spoil anything, but then like throughout the book, he follows Jesse Custer and them boys, and you know, vows revenge, and when the dialogue, it just shows him mumbling, and it's fun. He's a fun character.
Wait, so he vows vengeance, but against who? His own dad? I mean,
Oh, say again.
you said that he vowed vengeance against someone.
Oh, Jesse
Who?
Custer,
Oh, okay.
because Custer was the one who killed the dad. Yeah, that's right. He killed the dad. He made the father, I think it was, grab his own, you know, his own penis and shove it up his ass. I believe it's been a while. Yeah, I think, yeah, because he had the word of God. I think that was it. And because
Oh,
he's a bigot and a you know, he's like all against anybody but white. That was a total uh I guess meltdown on his psyche and his personality and stuff
my
and his man.
gosh.
And so he killed himself. Yeah, I think the father killed himself after Jesse Custer made him screw his own ass.
You made me defile myself, therefore I shall not live.
Yeah, yeah.
Lord help me, I'm coming.
Garth Ennis, man, it's good writing, man.
Man, that is a really interesting take of somebody who is like a very extreme conservative, if you will. Very extreme conservative. Oh my gosh. So the House of Blues, he likes to give a shout out to you, Marco. He's limited interview, and unfortunately he has to check out right now, but check it out. He will view the show back later. So thanks a
Thanks
lot,
for
Blues.
coming, bro. Yeah, man.
All right. So I just thought of something as I was watching your videos. I'm gonna throw this at you. Can you guess how many times have you said the word bro or dude in one video on average?
Odd, bro. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's your signature stuff. What I love about it is that, no offense, you remind me of a character named Jesus in Gravity Falls. Have you seen it?
No, man. No.
So he's a really cool guy who's very passionate, not about comic books, but he works in a mystery shack. And the mystery shack is this log cabin in the middle of Gravity Falls in Oregon. But it's one of those really small towns that is so far away from civilization and so deep into the mountains that strange stuff happens. So think of a more sci-fi version of Courage the Cowardly Dog that is happening around the Mystery Shack. And the
Mm.
Mystery Shack is owned by a man named Stan. Of course, the main characters are brother and sister. It goes by the name of Dipper and Mabel, and they're staying with their great uncle. And the uncle runs the Mystery Shack, which has a lot of the strange Ripley's Believe It or Not sort of artifacts, like a jar full of eyeballs, creatures that are weirdly mutated, but they are made into a, like a taxidermy side of it, and all these other things that has weird backstories. And he does this tour for tourists, telling them about the strange creatures that have known to exist. And this in comes this guy named Jesus, who he works for the Mystery Shack, but he's so passionate about all the creepy things that are inside of it. But at the same time, he is so down to earth that he talks to the kids and he says, dude and bro a lot. Like, hey, dude, how you dudes doing today? That's so cool, bro. Stuff like that. So I thought, oh man, you talk similar to Jesus, but I like that.
Oh, thanks, bro.
Yeah. All right, so let's move on to the random question of the day. Let's say that the comic book universe is real. By that, I mean we live in a world where superheroes and villains do exist. Now, do you envision yourself more as a superhero or in a villain? As a villain.
Um, Man, the villain, man. Villain. Villains have more fun. That's why. Maybe like a like some kind of lawful neutral, chaotic, some neutral type villain like Magneto. Yeah, kind of like Magneto was. Is it? He's more of an activist than extreme activist and villain. But I would say like kind of like a Magneto type. Yeah,
Really?
like
I
yeah.
envision you more of a mastermind, somebody who likes to play mind games with a lot of people and somehow manipulate them to do stuff for your bidding, like marionette strings. And your power is you
I
kill them
like
with
that too.
kindness, so people can't look past your shield and look at your flaws. You can win over a whole town and they'll defend you. I mean, it's that cool. I'll probably be one of your underlings. I can see that happening. But thinking this far ahead, if you were to give yourself a name for your villain role, could you think of anything right off the bat?
Oh man. Um. Oh, I've always liked Rex. Rex after like a name like Imperious Rex or Magneto Rex. They used to call Magneto Rex. I don't know.
Mhm.
Something Rex, Marco Rex. I don't know. Or they used to call Namor Imperious Rex. Kind of like a nickname,
Right.
kind of like a masculine nickname, but something Rex or something Diesel.
Okay.
Something like
Mastermind Rex Diesel.
yeah.
Cool. All right, so that's all the time we have for you today. Big thanks to you, Marco. Thanks a lot for coming along
Thanks,
on the
bro.
show. People do check out his channel, YouTube search Marco808, where he will do, as he promised, he will show you more of his collection hauls, and there will be at least one giveaway or actually a couple more into the future. So do subscribe to him, check him out. And is there anything else that you want to plug, Marco?
Um, that's it, bro. Thanks for having me, man. It was definitely a blast, and yeah, hopefully we can do more in the near future. Maybe like a group thing, or that sounds pretty fun. And yeah, thanks for having
Oh,
me, brother.
oh yeah, we absolutely will, especially when it comes to movie reviews. That is something that I love to do as a group. But are you mostly interested into superhero or like I know you do like sci-fi genre. Do you
Yeah.
happen to like maybe the kaiju like as Godzilla or anything else?
Um, I do. I'm not really exposed much with that kind of thing, but I'm definitely. I'd love to check it out. Hell yeah.
All right, cool. Again, thank you to viewers who are tuned in. If you did enjoy this episode of Tuesday Morning Shenanigans and would love to see more into the future, like, subscribe, leave a comment in the comment section below, or if you happen to have random questions that you just happen to think of and would love to see us answer in another episode, leave it in the comment section and we will get to it. Also, for figure reviews and more, do check out the Rave Corner. It is myfavorite.blogspot.com where I review Godzilla toys, Transformers toys, and many more. So until then, have a good day, and I will see you next time.
All right.